my thing to fall over. Welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Thank you guys for watching. First off, thank you guys for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. I wanted to follow up or really talk about this topic today concerning the video footage that appears to show P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever his name is, allegedly violently and savagely attacking his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. So it's just going to be a trigger warning for anyone who doesn't want to talk about violent acts or hear about it. I'm not going to show the video because I don't roll like that. It's strange because I'm of two minds. On one hand, I'm happy technology has allowed us to capture people doing anything and everything on one hand. However, the dark side to that is that somebody's always watching. So you can't really do anything. Even in your own home, you have video cameras, that's being captured. Even if it's not by ADT or Brinks or whoever, it's captured going somewhere to the cloud or wherever it's going. My point is, it does take away from our privacy. That's all I'm saying. However, I take exception with those types of things for a few reasons. So what I mean by that is, I don't watch violence. I'm not those people that be like, oh, we buying the fight on HBO. We're gonna come and have a party to buy the fight. To watch the fight. I'm just not that girl. I don't want to see other people attack other people. Again, to me, it's sort of like this society we live in is so backwards with how we view things. Not all of us, but some of us. So, for example, it's a crime. Let me say it like this. It's a crime to be a prostitute, right? At least in 49 of the states. But if whenever you're having sex with whomever it is that you're choosing to have sex with, as long as it's on video camera, you have a cameraman there and a lighting man and whatever, and you can sell it at the store, it's legal. Is it just me? Or porn stars not doing the same exact thing that the prostitutes up the street are doing? Help me understand. It's the same thing. Someone is paying the porn stars to have sex with strangers. Is that not what the girl on the corner doing? Having sex with strangers for money. But because you can go and buy it at the store, then it's perfectly legal. It's backwards ass thinking. It has no logic. It's the same thing. I told you guys I used to work in child welfare, and it just is bizarre to me that we are taught to raise our kids and tell our kids, don't talk to strangers, certainly don't get in their car, don't go in their home, that type of thing, right? Sounds logical to me, but if you're one of the children who end up in foster care in this country, guess what they're going to do? If you're in foster care, I'm not talking about if you are placed with your auntie or somebody like that, or a family friend. So they come take you from school, let's say hypothetically, or they may take you from your home, wherever it is that they're taking you from. You're 10 years old, 7 years old, 3 years old, 15, whatever it is, right? And guess where they take you when they find a placement? Either an emergency shelter, a residential treatment center, or a foster home. Guess who's at the foster home? A whole bunch of strangers. You're in a foster home with people you don't know, possibly girls and boys, with adults you don't know, that might cook food that you don't eat or practice a religion that you don't practice. So why are we okay to put little kids into homes where they don't know not one person? And don't believe what you see in the movie where it's like, oh, you're the caseworker, the case manager is going to come and, do a weekly visit to make sure everything is great, or y'all going to sit with the child for a little bit. That's not happening. Be clear. Probably going to get dropped off around 8:39 p.m. that night if they have a placement for you with people you don't know. It's backwards thinking. Now, if there's no other option, it is what it is. But I just think the framework around it should be somebody needs to be seeing these kids when they're initially placed, like every week or at least 2 months. And it doesn't have to be the caseworker. It could be a child advocate or whomever. That should be happening until, so the child can feel a little more comfortable and they can see people that are familiar to them. That's just my opinion. So I just think we have backwards, toxic ways that we do things. And I say all of that because I want to get everybody's opinion in the chat about this situation. Because, like I told y'all before, I'm pro-victim. I'm always going to believe the victim. It just is what it is. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe, unlike, whatever, unfollow. I don't care. That's how I rock. Do I believe everybody deserves their day in court? Yep, I do. But it's mind-boggling to me how time after time after time, when a woman accuses a man, specifically a celebrity, of committing some sort of, what's the right word, violent, savage, unlawful behavior, she has to be wanting him for his money. It has to be a come up, right? Money grab. Maybe it's a come up and a money grab for people who lived or grew up in a household with people who, that's all they know. Let me go money grab. Maybe that's familiar to you. And so that's where your mind goes. Your mind typically goes what's familiar, right? So it's why some broke people can't relate to rich people and vice versa. Paris Hilton can't relate to living in a 2-bedroom house or an apartment. She can't relate to that. She can't relate to not having a maid and tons of money at her disposal. She can't. She would never understand the plight of poor people or people that don't have access. Guess who she's going to rock with and be around? People just like her. She's going to have like experiences for rich people. That's what she's going to have. Sailing on a yacht, buying $1 million condos in New York. That's what's familiar to her. So for me, the people who automatically blame the victim, automatically say she's up to something and she has to be doing this so that this man can pay her out, I believe you think that way because that's the type of people you surround yourself with. Be clear. Because ask yourself, why, if this is how you think, why do I automatically have 42,000 questions for the victim? And then if I get some sort of information that kind of seals the deal with what the victim was saying was true, the next thing is, well, I'm going to just have to let the legal system play out. You can't say I'm sorry, but you're going to let the legal system play out like the legal system plays out well for anybody except people who are really wealthy and well-connected. That's who the legal system works for. I promise you, if you broke, it's not going to work for you. And it's just mind-boggling to me that people just know there's no way this celebrity could have done that. It's one thing to back your cousin, your brother, your bestie, your husband, whatever. You know those people. I'm not even saying you should back them or believe them. I'm not. But that's your choice, and it's understandable. If your son's being accused of this, if your nephew's being accused of this, if your husband or your best friend, I get it. You're in close proximity to those people. I understand why you may be like, you know what? I don't know if she's telling the truth. That's not necessarily your experience with that individual. What boggles my mind is the people who have all these audacities that she lying. Meanwhile, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, R. Kelly, who else? Weinstein, Epstein, and all the other ones in between, P. Diddy, Jay-Z, all of the ones that people are talking about. There is no possible way. These people don't even know you. But you're sure they're not guilty of it. Why you don't ask them 1,000 questions? Why you not asking Sean Puffy Combs if that's true? Why you not questioning him and where he was and why Cassie's, suing him? Anyway, let me get off my soapbox because I said I'm only gonna be on here for 30 minutes, so we got 20 minutes. I'm just gonna read this what this CNN article. I put the link in the description. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read the main points. So it says CNN is reporting in 2016 surveillance video obtained exclusively by CNN shows Sean Diddy Combs grab, shove, drag, and kick his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura during an altercation that matches allegations in a now settled federal lawsuit filed by Cassie, Ms. Ventura, back in November. The footage compiled from multiple camera angles dated March 5th of 2016 appears to show the rapper, Mr. Combs, Sean Diddy Dummy Combs, him. They didn't say that, I said that. Producer and business mogul during an incident that, according to Ventura's complaint, occurred at the now closed Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles. CNN verified the location based on publicly available photos of the former hotel's interior. Okay. In the video, Ventura exits a hotel room and walks to a bank of elevators. So a whole bunch of elevators on her floor. Combs, holding a towel around his waist, runs down a hall after Ventura. He grabs her by the back of her neck and throws her to the floor. Still holding his towel with one hand, he then turns to kick her, the video shows. As Ventura is on the ground, Combs retrieves a purse and suitcase from the floor near the elevator. He turns around and kicks Ventura again. Savage. As she lies motionless on the floor. About 4 seconds transpired between the two kicks, according to the video. He then briefly drags Ventura by her sweatshirt toward the room before walking away. Ventura is then seen slowly standing up. She gathers items from the floor and moves to pick up a phone on the hallway near the elevators. It says Combs is still in his towel and socks, and he returns. A mirror directly across from the security camera shows Combs appearing to shove Ventura. Seconds later, he sits down on a chair and grabs an object off of the table and forcefully throws it at her. Combs is seen walking away, then turns toward Ventura once again, when an elevator door opens and someone appears to exit. Savage. You know, one of my biggest questions is I just don't understand why women specifically. I understand on some level why men, but I don't, because I'm not giving them no passes. But the reason why I say, on one hand, I understand a little bit with the men, because we typically rally around like people, right? So women are going to probably have some similar experiences that other women have, so they could speak to it, right? Same thing with men. Maybe they know a whole bunch of aggressive men that beat their girlfriends, wives, whomever, right? So they could understand it. Women understand struggles. But what I don't understand about specifically the women that come out and attack people like Cassie or any victim of sexual assault, I know I'm not supposed to say that word, SA, right? Or R, what's the other words? Molestation. I would love for, I don't know why women assume so readily that women are, unintelligent, uneducated, ignorant, stupid. What other words did I put down here? Incompetent, unintelligent idiots who are so utterly and completely helpless that the only way that we women can succeed is through meeting some rich man. Why don't we assume that women are so fucking helpless that we cannot in 2025, especially black women, we can't do it for ourselves. That we can't become millionaires on our own. That we can't get educated and take care of ourselves on our own. The only thing we can do is wait for some rich celebrity or some man to financially secure our futures. The only way I can, the way I think that there's two things. So the women that think that way most likely came from family members in a family that think that way because they saw their mom struggle and deal with some idiot for however many years or not work. So we must be helpless creatures. Meanwhile, black women, FYI, are the most educated women in this country. Yes, the United States of America. Melanated women like me are the most educated people in this country. And for some reason, you have women online, on Twitter, on wherever, just going in on other women because she has to be after some money grab. And let me just explain the money grab situation, why that's so stupid. But for the people who maybe don't understand it, if you're in the back, come to the front, okay? So the money grab thing is this. First of all, stop thinking we're helpless, okay? And that the only way that we can do anything and be successful in life is via a man. Your mom, your grandma, my mom, my grandma, and whomever else are proof that that's false. It's just a false narrative. It's so stupid. But anyways, come to the front for the money grab people, okay? So this is the thing. Whenever, first of all, I told y'all a long time ago, the laws in this country are not set up for us. They're not set up really for any minority, if we're being honest. The people that wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were all white men. So if you go read the laws, that's who it helps. It doesn't help brown men and it doesn't help any other minority. It doesn't. If you think about it, and I've said this before, there was legislation in Texas. I don't know where you guys live. In Texas, that sat on a senator or the Congress people's desk for over 3 years. It's called the Violence Against Women Act. Because guess what? Congress, we can't get our shit together to protect women. It just recently got reinstated. How is that possible? Why does it take until 1996 for it to even be a law? Go read. Go read a book. If you can't read a book, go on the internet. Type in Violence Against Women Act. You'll see Bill Clinton. He'll pop up. Okay? If men are so savory, why is it that laws had to be put in place to protect women to begin with? And then even when the laws were in place, for all of the people that think, well, why did she go back? I'm not even going to go down that road. But let's be clear about the laws, though, right? Women are so scared in those type of situations, victims of domestic violence. I'm going to call it assault because that's what it is. Okay? They call it domestic violence so that they can minimize it. Oh, that's just between that man and that woman. Alexa, stop. That's what they do. But please believe words are intentional. It should be called assault against women. That should be the charge. If you want to be honest about it and not domestic violence. Right? But again, for the people in the back, come to the front who think it's a money grab or don't understand the money grab, comment so they just run around the earth saying that's what it is. Because they can't think past go, in my opinion. Let me help you think past go. Okay? So what happens is, if I'm Cassie and I, for whatever reason, found myself in this dangerous relationship with this idiot, whoever that idiot might be, I go and file charges. Or I call the police to my house. Here's another thing about the law, real quick, because this wasn't always in the law. Because victims, specifically women, are so afraid of said person and the retaliation that's going to happen, when the police get there, they'll swear, nope, I don't want him to go to jail, or whatever. Because why? Even if he was to get arrested, he'll be out in a few hours. Please believe. Okay? They're not holding him there for long because he punched you in the eye. It's not going to happen. So he'll get taken away. But here's the kicker. The law didn't used to mandate that in certain states, law enforcement can make the decision to take him to jail, the violator or the perpetrator, whomever. So even if the victim is like, no, I don't want to go to jail and this, that, and the third, law enforcement now, I don't know if it's a federal law, but they are required to, if they can see physical harm, they're required to take that party to jail. Why do you think that is? Because they know this woman or victim has been beat up. They know. And guess what? It's very likely that this isn't his first charge of this type of behavior. Because women know that, they understand that the laws are not set up for them. At least their attorney understands it. So what happens is, if it's any man, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And if he gets sentenced to anything, it's not going to be very long unless there's a weapon involved. Possibly it might go somewhere from there. Right? That's possible. It's not always accurate, but it's possible. Right? Many perpetrators get off. Look how long Epstein was able for 20-something years to bounce around from court to court when people did start, suing him or alleging that he did these, criminal acts. That man did it for over 20 years. He went to court multiple times and never got convicted. And then when he did, it was prostitution charges. When in reality, he was going and getting, or sending his people to go and get underage girls. So my point is this: if you a blowjob, if whoever is attacking that woman or victim is a man, it's highly unlikely that that man is going to go to jail for any long period of time. Like I said, unless there's a weapon involved. And even then, it would probably have to be egregious. Right? So what happens? What happens is, next, for the money grab people, your attorney will advise you of the laws and how they're not set up for your ass to get him and make him go to jail. They're set up for him to take violence against women classes, anger management classes. Not to go to jail, but come do these classes. So your attorney says you can roll the dice. You can roll the dice with the court and the jury of your peers who, if they think like some of these people online who constantly want to accuse anybody that's alleging that a man assaulted her or him, has to be after some money grab. They're not, the people in the jury ain't gonna convict this man anyway. And his court date gonna be probably a year or two from now. Meanwhile, he gonna be out and about doing whatever, probably re-violating you. So what your attorney does, they come to you and they say, okay, so we gonna let you we're gonna advise you of this. You can take your chances with the court and the jury of your peers, and then just hope that they convict him. And even if they do, he's not going to jail for 15 years. Please believe he's not. He'll be out very soon with either time served or the jail is too crowded. So your attorney says that's what's probably going to happen. It's very likely. It's not 100%, but it's likely. So then they give you your other option. They say, okay, well, that's probably not going to do you any good because he's not going to confess. And if he's powerful, like someone with P. Diddy, and has millions of dollars in access, this is never going to see the inside of a courtroom anyway. His lawyers are going to insure it. So that's when the money comes in. And your attorney says to you, there's a 99% chance that without any proof and just your word, he's not going to jail. He's not even going to court. So if you want to have some level of justice, then you can sue him in civil court. And that court, you'll probably win or they'll settle. That's the options we have. Why do you think? So it's sort of like, you know how you see people, I'm going to just use white people. I'm not going to use I'm not saying all white people, but you know how as black people, we have like this collective unconsciousness. We kind of know, okay, well, we believe what happened to George Floyd. We're not shocked. We're sad about it. It's horrible. But based on our country's dark history, it's not shocking, right? So if you're not us, if you're white and you have privilege, you're not concerned about these people suing you. You're not. What reason would you have to be? It's the reason that the white lady in the park can call the police in New York, can call the police on a man bird watching when the sign says no dogs or other animals. This is specifically for bird watching. And then when he asked her to leave, I believe, she calls 911 on a man that's sitting in a park asking you to leave because you're in here and basically in violation of the park rules. Right? Why can she do that? Why is she so confident that she can call the police and make false accusations? It's the same exact reason that many abusers and violators can abuse kids and children and women and whomever else because they know how it's going to play out. There are going to be millions of people who attack the victim within an inch of that person's life and give her no credibility, no credence, and you don't even know this person. Nor do you know the statistics. At least I worked in sex crimes and child welfare, so I've seen it. And, you know, I have 3 college degrees. And I'm not saying I have 3 college degrees to like puff my chest out. I'm saying you have to do a lot of research, like real research, empirical data research. You have to read so many studies on things like this. So I'm very informed. That's why I can say that. And that's the only reason I say I have 3 college degrees, because they're all in relation to helping people. All 3 of them. 2 of them are advanced. So I'm not some person speaking out of the side of my neck. I know how people are, how people respond, why men know. And I only say men because statistically, they're the ones who are the perpetrators. It just is what it is. It's just a fact. Statistically, they're the perpetrators. So don't get mad at me. Go talk to your uncle, your cousin, your bestie, your friends, your daddy, your grandpa. Talk to them about why, statistically, men continuously are the perpetrators. Bring me the facts, since maybe you don't agree with me. Bring me the facts. But then, more than anything, instead of that, I would really love for people, go work at a domestic violence shelter. Talk to those women. Go volunteer there. Yep. And for all the people that are like, oh, she just stayed around, Cassie stayed there because of the lifestyle and this, that, and the third. So if that's true, maybe you're right. I don't think you're right, but let's say you are. Okay. What do you say to all of the women or victims who stay with the idiot who's uneducated, or he could be educated, but he don't have millions of dollars, he don't have clout, he doesn't have advanced options, or he doesn't have money to buy people? Tell me why all of those people, all those women stay. It ain't because of the money. There's plenty of broke women with broke men that are being violently attacked every day. So stop it with the money claims and the clout claims, because like I said before, that's usually their only option with some powerful man that's being accused, right? Because guess what that powerful rich man has? Access to all kinds of attorneys and all kinds of people in the court systems. The entertainment industry is savage, and they have hundreds of thousands of gatekeepers. People keep you quiet. They just do. And again, it don't have to be Sean Puffy Combs. He could be the man next door, your cousin's boyfriend or baby daddy who beating the hell out of her. But yet, y'all sit online and attack people for accusing a man of something he has done. How many people lied about, were really so egregiously mean to Cassie? She stayed. She should have left. She could have left. If you know anything about domestic violence, that's what I'll call it for the sake of this video. Um, it takes many years typically for the victim to leave. They want to, they get, what is it called? Love bombed. I'm sure that's what he did to Cassie. Yeah. He love bombed her, that lady, and then probably 6 months later punching her. And then say, I'm so sorry, I was drunk. Then addicted her to whatever, allegedly, that she says. Now she's a zombie. She can't defend herself. She can't consent. He has her drugged out of her mind, according to what the rumor mill says. And even if it ain't Sean Puffy Combs, even if it's your neighbor up the street, people are real good at, and I've seen this, I'm going to take away everybody and move you away from everybody that you love. That can't nobody come over the house, this, that, and the third. Not even your mama and your daddy. And certainly not your bestie. They can't come. Why? Because they're going to talk sense into you and tell you, let's go. So we can't have that. So they come back or they stay. And the worst case is when they have children with them. Because now it's very difficult to get rid of that person. Because even if you move away, they can file some sort of legal action to say she ran away with my child. Not that she can't leave with the child. But typically, if you're going to move to a different state, unless that person agrees to it, you want to have, they want to have some sort of custody. And you need their permission to, like, leave the state with y'all's child. So it further complicates things. But there are services out there. If you're ever in need, call 988-988 on your phone, and you will get to a crisis center. And they can help you any time of the day, 24/7, 365. It's a national federal number. You're going to get to a crisis center. Somebody can help you. But again, there's people that get their phones tapped. If they got access like P. Diddy, probably has phones tapped, probably has people watching, like that Miss Porter lady, his ex. She ended up deceased. The other guy, I don't know if it was Al B. Shore, so y'all fact check me, but I don't know if it was Al B. Shore, but I think he said that he thought P. Diddy tried to off him. Because he went to sleep somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. And then woke up. I think he was in a coma in the hospital. All I want us to do is use our common sense. And I'm not talking to the people who do use their common sense. I'm saying all the people that want to constantly blame the victim. It's why we're not going to have justice. It's why the laws in this country are still in favor of men or the perpetrators. Remember, the victim has to prove this happened. It's very difficult to prove once your face is healed. Anyway, guys, chime down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear from the people who don't believe victims, and from the people that do, because I would love to understand the mindset of people who don't. And I'm not being facetious. I just don't get it. So I would love for you guys to help me understand why you have 1,000 questions for the victim and almost none for the perpetrator or the accused perpetrator. But thanks for watching, guys. You probably won't see this until tomorrow. I live in Houston, and so we had terrible storm and tornadoes. That don't normally happen in Houston. On yesterday or the day before. Yeah, the day before. And all of the power was out. I'm talking about those big power. They look like the Eiffel Tower. And there's like rows of them down, whatever. Many of those are knocked down. My back fence was knocked down. There's a gas station in front of my community. And you know how a gas station has like the top part of the gas station with the lights and stuff? That is completely torn off. Like ripped out of the ground. That shit crazy. People's trees, my neighbor's trees. Our trees were broken. My neighbors, they have worse. There's people all across here, like there's buildings downtown with like tall buildings with every window knocked out on certain sides. It's crazy. Or just 3 and 4 story buildings, you see the whole back part of the bricked building gone. It's bananas. And we just not got power back, I would say, about an hour or two ago. Because I was like, listen, I need some real food. Because you know, you can't cook, you can't do anything. Even though I have a gas stove, I could have cooked, but listen, I'm trying to not, listen, throw my husband off a bridge. No, because he right here talking about, I don't think it's safe to use the stove. Sir, that's why it's a gas stove. It's not an electric one, it's safe, but I'm just going to keep the peace. So I'm going to go over here to, what did I say? I woke up, I was like, I want some KFC. KFC, Popeyes, everybody had 29,000 people in line. So I guess I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'll go home. Because I was not about to sit in that long line. But again, like I said, so pray for us in Houston. We don't have damage right now to our house that I've seen, other than, like I said, the back fence is gone. And you know what else? I saw a lot of videos where or pictures where just big, huge trees were pulled out of the ground. I'm just like, how does that happen? How do you pull a whole tree that's rooted deep in the ground? And it's big trees. But how do you pull the backs of entire buildings off? It's crazy. But listen, I replanted a lemon tree and an orange tree, and they survived. I was like, that's the first thing I did. I was like, hey boo, oh, so yeah, I was surprised. I was just like, how did the wind blow off all of my back fence, but my little lemon tree and orange tree survived? I was just first thing I did. My husband he woke me up and was like, well, no, I actually woke up because I was in the back room and it sounded like people were throwing bricks at my window because I was knocked all the way out. And so I'm like, what the hell? And then I came out, our house is dark, the street is dark, and that's how I found out. I was like, oh my God. Like my husband, because he just, oh God, pray for me. He opened the door and then couldn't get it closed because that's how strong the wind was. Bananas. I'm like, can you close the door? What are you doing, sir? Meanwhile, my dog, Bentley, his name is Bentley because I wanted a Bentley and my husband won't buy me one. I'm like, listen, that's a negative. I don't like negative energy. I should have a Bentley. But anyway, he wouldn't buy me a Bentley, so I just named my dog Bentley. It is what it is. No. But my dog, I feel like, has anxiety when and when it rains hard. Oh, he gets so scared. And I don't want him to pee because he has anxiety. So I was holding him, but he was shaking. Poor baby. Yeah, I feel bad for him. But yeah, pray for Houston. It's gonna be so many insurance claims. They probably gonna be like, look, we no longer have our Houston offices anymore. We closed all our Houston offices. Child. So my heart goes out to those people that lost a lot, and then my heart definitely goes out to the people that are homeless, don't have no way. Because as much as people want to think, oh, there's a place for the homeless to go, or there's a place for the drug addicts to go, there's a place, all they need to do is go to rehab. I had an old client years ago who was court ordered to go to rehab. You know, the rehab place of sodas? Oh, her levels aren't high enough. So we can't accept her. Okay, so what you're saying is if she did this illicit drug and lots of it yesterday, then she can get admitted to y'all's sober living, whatever. But because she is committed to stop using that substance, y'all can't put her in there. It's bananas. So don't believe what you see on TV. It's not how it works. It's just not. And just because people are homeless does not mean that there's a bed for everybody. There isn't. I used to work in a psych hospital and always would be trying to find a place for the people who had no place to go, to live. And the big places you hear about, Salvation Army or United Way, places like that, those beds are gone by probably noon. They may only have a 200 bed whatever facility. So it's gone by noon. So this whole idea that the homeless people can all get in there when it's 100 degrees outside, they can't. You don't know how many days. When I work downtown, certain parts of downtown, I would go to work every day, and especially when it was cold or really hot, I would feel so terrible because there would be lines of homeless people. I'm cold in my car, so I don't know how they making it. It's sad. And then you have some homeless people that are mentally ill. I have a friend, I'll say this one last thing and then I'm leaving. But I have a friend who, her mom um, suffers from mental illness. And I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what mental illness it was, but she didn't have like she wasn't a US citizen. Like she came here with her husband many, many years ago when my friend was little. Um, and that guy, ironically, was violent. Don't get me started. Um, but anyway, so she was here illegally. And then her, well, I won't get into all of it, but basically she was mentally ill and she was homeless. And so my friend would go, and check on her because lived under this one bridge in Houston. Um, and I remember one day last summer, was it last summer or the summer before? I think it was the summer before. We were driving, I don't know, I think we were just out and about doing something, and she was just like, hey, let's go by and check on my mom, because she knew her mom was sick, but I think she thought her mom had COVID because it was during that virus, because I can't say it again, sorry. We went to go check on her, and it was just, her mom was so gorgeous, beautiful. She was from South Dominican. I forget what it is, but it's in the Caribbean somewhere. Just beautiful. And I could tell she was sick because she lost so much weight. She just looked really bad. And so then we went for the next 2 hours trying to find a hotel for her. And you wouldn't, man, listen, one of these hotels we went to was so savage because the lady, she was just being who she was. I'm like, we're trying to get a room for her mom to stay in. And she, I guess, just knew, oh, well, y'all are paying for a room for someone else and they need a driver's license and this, that, and the third. And we're just kind of like, my friend was like, the room's for me. So just book me a room. Now, here's the thing. We had already booked the room online. So it was already booked. But the ladies at the front, just hood rats. I'm like, so we can't book a room for her, my friend, even though it wasn't for her. We can't book a room for her, for her, because you think we're doing something nefarious. Okay. But all these crackheads walking around here, they ain't doing nothing nefarious. Stop. But some people are just assholes. It just is who they are. And this is the thing. My friend just didn't have a ton of money, right? So she couldn't put her up in a room where it's like $150 a night. What's the point? We wanted her to have at least a week or two because it was so hot outside. Anyway, it took a lot to finally get her into a room. And then she would do stuff like turn the heat all the way up and say she's cold. And it's like, that's impossible. It's 150 degrees outside. It's impossible. But long story short, she ended up in the hospital with cancer. It was terrible. And how the hospital, because of the hospital she took her to, some healthcare people are just savages. And I've witnessed it. I used to work in a hospital. It's savage. They did everything that they could to try to kind of go around this lady's human rights. They knew she couldn't speak English. And yet they had her signing papers. She doesn't understand what you're saying. What are you doing? She can't consent to something if she can't read the document because it's in a different language. But because I'm a social worker, I knew that there's certain protocols that they have to go through, especially because this lady is so sick that your doctors even said they can't even operate. How mean are you to want to throw that lady out? I get it. It's about money, but it's just, where's your humanity? Facts. It's where's your humanity? Where is it? How do you do this to some person? And thank God my friend knew me, and I'm not tooting my horn, but because I'm a social worker, I knew that there's a protocol, right? So for hospice is people that are gonna die, that aren't going to be in the hospital, or the hospital can't do much for them, so they just send them home. So you have a hospice worker, You can request a priest or any type of spiritual leader. This is supposed to be your team, your physicians, and it's like 6 or 7 people that are supposed to and legally are required to help you and your party. So if it's your husband, your auntie, or whoever the parties they might be, through that process. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what y'all get paid to do, all of those people. So why y'all trying to throw this lady out? It's just asinine. But I remember too, I'll say this one last thing. Years ago, one of my husband's cousin he used some sort of drug. Whatever it is that he took. His mom found him outside on the ground, like face down or whatever. They took him to the hospital. He was in a coma for like a week. And that's not even the biggest deal. What happened was, so the whole family is basically me, because this is my husband's family. We are all at the hospital praying and whatever else. So me and my husband and I think his cousin, somebody, we go back to go see him. And this is what I mean by healthcare workers. Some of them, not all of them. So we go back to the room. They've taken the, I forget what it's called, but it's part of the breathing machine. Because they have to put it down your throat when you're in a coma, so the machine can breathe for you in case something happens, right? So if you've ever had surgery, typically if you're gonna go under general anesthesia, that's not what he had, but if you're gonna go under general anesthesia, they're going to put a tube down your throat again so that you can breathe if something happens. They already have it in there. They don't want something to happen, and then now they're trying to put it down there. So, but anyway, when you leave surgery and you're waking up, your throat is very sore. So the first thing you want is some water or juice or something cold, because it's very, very sore. And so that's what my husband's cousin, but my cousin was asking for. And that guy, I don't know if he was a nurse or whatever it was, he was just like talking to him so crazy. He was like, "Sir, you need to, you just woke up from a coma." It took, listen, the strength of the Hulk for me to be composed, because I'm just like, how fucking dare you? What is wrong with you? How do you speak to someone that way? You are out of your fucking mind. Be clear. And I thought to myself, that's because he is quote unquote poor. He's brown and whatever else. And this is how these people get treated. Plus, he's not at a grade A hospital. But I've been to a few grade A hospitals, and I remember 2 years ago I had surgery and ran out of medicine, pain medicine. And I have been calling my doctor's office all day long. Hey, I have this one pill left. I really need a refill. And with certain type of controlled substances, you can't move it. So if you send my prescription to Walgreens over here and that Walgreens is closed, the Walgreens over here that's 24 hours can't just get that medicine. They can't move it. They can't do anything. You have to get a new prescription from the doctor. They can't fill it. So supposedly, my doctor, this is at night, this is like 9:50 at night. I finally go to I get in touch with the people from my doctor. She finally calls me and is like all dramatic about, "Oh, I was asleep." And girl, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Anyway, so she sends the new prescription. They get it, but then they text me or call me or something, Walgreens does, and says your prescription is ready. So I mosey on down to the Walgreens, and I get there and they're like, "We're out of this medicine." Excuse me? Say what? I don't think I heard you right. Because I've been in pain all day holding on to this one Tylenol 3 for when the prescription gets filled. So I call my doctor back and I'm like, okay, they can't fill the prescription because they don't have this particular medicine. So we're going to find another pharmacy, and you'll have to write a prescription for that one. We worked for like an hour and a half to find a pharmacy that had the medication, and it was 24 hours. So at this point, it's like almost midnight. I call my doctor back because she called me from her phone. I call her back on that phone instead of the answering service. This lady tells me, "Don't call my phone again. This is my private line." Bitch, you called my phone. How did I get your private line? It's the audacities that people have. But not only did she say that, mind you, I'm her patient. She cut me open a week prior. Okay? I'm her whole patient. Got it. Not only did she cut me open, because she's a specialist, and then another general surgeon cut me open for something else that I had going on that she couldn't do. I think it was the hernia. So the general doctor did the hernia surgery, and then this other doctor, specialist, she did a different surgery, and she took out my appendix because it was infected or something. This bitch, she said, after we found the pharmacy and it's 24 hours and they had a medication, she said, I'm going to sleep. You're just going to have to wait till tomorrow. Excuse me? You're a doctor. Isn't there something ethically wrong? Put the human side aside. Put the humanity aside. Put human decency aside. You're a fucking doctor. What are you talking about? Your patient is in pain, and you know that she is, because you said, and my other general doctor said, it's probably going to be a month before you start feeling like yourself. And you sleepy and tired? I've been up all day in pain. And now I have to wait? That's fucking egregious. And I have other stories I can tell you about. So it's asinine to me. Some of the things that some people get away with in the healthcare system. But again, like I said, guys, glad that I can come on here and do this video, because I have been without air, without lights, child, for 2 days, and I'm happy. I'm so happy it's back together. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Please, on your way out, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you like the content that you're seeing here. And I will see you guys later. Bye. Thank you, YouTube.